Welcome everyone for joining us here on this webinar on the Restoration Initiative program. We will start shortly. We'll just give extra few minutes for people to connect. Thank you. Dear participants, thank you for your patience. We will start the webinar shortly. Welcome and good morning from Rome, Italy. My name is Benjamin de Ridder. I'm a forestry officer working for the Forest and Landscape Restoration Mechanism of the Food and Agriculture Organization of the United Nations. In the name of the International Union for Conservation of Nature, FAO and United Nations Environment Program, we would like to welcome you warmly to this webinar to learn more about the restorative journey under the Restoration Initiative program. First, I would like to share some housekeeping rules. Please note that this webinar is being recorded and it will be available on the Restoration Initiative website, so you can always review it later or share it with interested parties. Also, please note that the webinar is available in both English and French, so you need to click on the interpretation link down at your screen to access these channels. Pour les francophones, le webinaire sera disponible en anglais et en français, so il faudra sélectionner votre langue préférée en utilisant l'icône en bas, l'icône de monde en bas, et choisir votre langue en français. Also, you will be able to ask questions in the chat. We have an exciting list of distinguished speakers from a range of countries across the world with us today. So please type your questions in the chat, and if possible, direct your questions to a particular speaker. So in the end of our session, we can actually respond to these questions. So to start off, I would like to give the word to our colleague Carole Saint-Laurent from IUCN, who will provide some opening remarks and set the scene. Thank you.
Well, over the years of the Restoration Initiative, IUCN has seen a number of achievements emerge from this program, this multi-country program. I think there's different ways of assessing progress. We have some figures. For example, 300,000 hectares have been brought under restoration. More than 600,000 hectares have been brought under improved management. More than 40 new policies have been put in place or existing policies strengthened. Those are all tangible achievements. But I think there's other ways of looking at this progress as well, because TREE was a kind of an experiment. It was an experiment in how to build a program from a very disparate bunch of country projects. We were working in 3 languages over 2 continents with 10 projects. How do you bring that together to shape that into a real program? And I think the GEF Council and GEF Secretariat were really looking at how to make this work. Across these challenges, we were dealing with many different kinds of ecosystems, forests, mangroves, arid lands, and others. And somehow through all this, I think through a coherent package of sharing and learning and bringing expertise together, we forged a true program out of these very diverse pieces. And I think that's probably the real achievement of the Restoration Initiative, to demonstrate how that can be done.
Thank you very much, Carole, for these words, and welcome once again to this webinar on the best practices and lessons learned from this beautiful experiment called the Restoration Initiative Program across Africa and Asia. As shown in the video, the Restoration Initiative is a collaborative effort aimed at restoring degraded landscapes and enhancing ecosystem services across multiple countries while providing multiple benefits to all involved. This initiative started in 2008 and spans over several years and involves a diverse array of partners, including the International Union for Conservation of Nature, the Food and Agriculture Organization, and the United Nations Environment Programme. TRI, in short, operates in various countries, as mentioned. It included the Democratic Republic of Congo, Kenya, Central African Republic, Sao Tome and Principe, Pakistan, Guinea-Bissau, Tanzania, China, and Cameroon. Each of these countries have unique ecological challenges and opportunities, and TRI's approach is tailored to address the specific context. You will learn more about it during this webinar. One of the innovative aspects of TRI is its holistic approach to restoration, which integrates community involvement, gender empowerment, and the use of traditional knowledge. This initiative also emphasizes the importance of public-private partnerships and data-driven advocacy to secure both community and government support for restoration. So today we will journey through the life cycle of this impactful project, from initial challenges and community engagement to innovative practices and technologies and the involvement of women in restoration interventions. Our esteemed speakers will share their experience and insight with you, contributing to a broader understanding of how we can achieve sustainable restoration and community resilience in the long run. So we have speakers from 9 different countries joining us today, and we will leave it up to them to introduce themselves before they answer each of our questions. To start off, we will focus on the beginning of the restoration journey. We will talk about the initial challenges and the community engagement necessary to plan and implement restoration on the ground. So my first question will be going to the representative from Democratic Republic of Congo. The TRI project often began with significant challenges, particularly in engaging multiple stakeholders and securing community buy-in. Understanding these initial hurdles is crucial for replicating success in other regions. So, what were the primary challenges in the initial stage of the TRI project in the Democratic Republic of Congo, particularly regarding multi-stakeholder consultations? Lebo, over to you.
Ok, merci. Moi, c'est Lebo Laurent Ngoy. Je suis à la FAO au Sud Kivu comme assistant au coordonnateur du projet dans le cadre du projet TRI. Alors, les principaux défis auxquels le projet a fait face pendant ses débuts, c'était dans le cadre des consultations multipartites, c'était plus au niveau de l'adhésion et l'appropriation de cette approche restauration des forêts et des paysages. Au fait, les gens avaient l'habitude de prendre la restauration uniquement dans le cadre des plantations des arbres. Et face à tous les défis que nous avons et à l'approche restauration qui englobe plusieurs autres approches, entre autres la restauration des services écosystémiques, la qualité de l'eau, la fertilité des sols, alors, le grand défi, c'était arriver à convaincre les, les différentes parties prenantes à adhérer à cette approche de restauration et à accompagner le projet, donc apprendre à s'approprier de ces techniques. Vu que dans les Sud Kivu, nous avons un grand problème par rapport aux espaces, donc aux terres. Les terres sont vraiment réduites par rapport au nombre de personnes et donc, dans l'approche des ménages, quand les ménages doivent faire la restauration de leur, adhérer à la restauration, c'est sur leur petit lopin de terre qu'ils doivent faire en même temps l'agroforesterie et en même temps les cultures, planter les arbres agroforestiers et en même temps les cultures. Et donc, pour arriver à convaincre ces personnes et en même temps les services étatiques, les convaincre à adhérer à cette approche, c'était vraiment, après plusieurs sensibilisations, des sensibilisations porte à porte, des sensibilisations des masses. Et enfin, nous avons pu relever ces défis d'adhésion à l'approche restauration des forêts et des paysages. Merci.
Thank you, Lebo. Yes, indeed, awareness raising and involving all actors from the start of the project is crucial. I'll have the second question now for the representative from Pakistan. In Pakistan, the TRI project faced the challenges of preventing the cutting of young Gigolza pine trees, a critical issue for forest conservation. How did the TRI project in Pakistan address this challenge of preventing the cutting of young Gigolza pine trees at the start of the project? Please unmute the microphone, Ajaz.
Thank you so much. The TRI project in Pakistan addressed the challenges of cutting the young Chalgoza pine tree at the start of the project by engaging the local communities, as the local community are the custodian of these forest resources. So it was the challenge to involve the local community and to motivate them that these small trees, the young trees, are more important for the future. So we start awareness raising session among the local community, and we sensitize the local community, the forest user, about the importance of protecting young Chalgoza trees in the forest, so that the forest regeneration and long-term livelihood benefit can be achieved. We establish Chalguza Forest Protection and Conservation Committees. That committee involved the local stakeholder and indigenous community in decision making, like the whole decision making related to the Chalguza project are done by these Chalguza Forest Protection and Conservation Committees. Then we enforce rule, both the customary as well as the modern forest law rule to prevent the cutting of young trees. We also involve uh, the religious leader to motivate the local people so that they do not cut the young trees. We also provided the alternative livelihood opportunity through trainings and sustainable harvesting technique of NTFPs, like we install chalhoza processing unit. We also work on the walnut oil extraction, medicinal plant, and all these things. We also distributed energy efficient stove to reduce dependency on the firewood collected from the Chalgoza forest. The other value chain product in the area will also improve. Reduce local community dependency on sustainable corn harvesting. We provided them toolkits that are eco-friendly to collect the Chalgoza corn. So we also, with the support of local forest department, we also build the capacity of the forest user and the local community, the collector and the forest user in sustainable harvesting of chalgoza pine nut, and also in that field that so how can they manage their forest, how can they protect their forest by applying the negehban. The negehban is a local guard in local language. This is engaged by the local people to oversee the forest. Yes, please.
Thank you. I hear that the multifaceted approach and different entry points to really gaining community support really paid off to really ensure inclusiveness of the community members and avoiding to really damage the new plantations of young Kigosa trees. Thank you. Before we move on to the next segment, let's take a moment to watch a short video showcasing the TRI project in China. Unfortunately, they could not be with us today during this webinar, but this video highlights the innovative approaches and successes of the project, providing a broader context for our discussion.
在项目实施以前，我们村以传统的农业生产为主，受到很多气候、病虫害方面的挑战。其次，我们也不太擅长经营管理。上世纪80、90年代到本世纪初，我们村试图把大部分集体林地廉价承包给企业或农户经营，但由于经营不善，只砍树不造林，导致林地收益低，村民几乎无收益。我们得到了很多帮助，包括政策倾斜、林业政策法规科普、林业技师培训、政策资金扶持。通过长春共建融合发展项目，首先视觉层面看起来就不一样了，环境看起来美观了许多。其次，我们的村子的资源都被利用起来了，整个村子的经营水平得到了大幅度提升，这就直接反映在了收益上。通过项目建设，村民及我本人深切体会到2点：第一，科学合理的林业经营能够以林业独有的天然优势，带动中小型工业、手工业以及旅游业的发展，从而有效地调整农村经济结构，增加农民收入，提高农村的生态环境，减少水土流失和土壤沙化。同时，生态环境的改善可以有效地提高农业生产的保障能力，保证粮食分产增收。二，林业是一项劳动密集型产业，在其循环发展过程中，可以解决大量的农村劳动力就业问题，有力地带动了农村经济和社会林业产业可持续发展。未来的计划为：一，坚持科学经营林地，因地制宜，逐步实现全村森林可持续规模化经营。二，加大生态文明理念宣传力度，调动村民经营森林的主动性和积极性，努力实现我们村生态资源价值化。
Thank you for this, and it really this video and this testimony really describes the diversity of our project under the TRI program. It also showcased really the importance and linkage between science and restoration to really have full benefit of all aspects of restoration to both environment and local communities. So we move on to the next session. Let's discuss about lessons learned on community involvement and project impact and success. So my next question will be directed to the representative from the Central African Republic. Community involvement is a cornerstone of the TRI project. By engaging local communities and indigenous peoples, these projects have achieved remarkable success and sustainability. So what have been the key outcomes of involving indigenous peoples in the restoration approach in the Central African Republic, and how has this contributed to the project sustainability? Over to you, Nani.
Merci Benjamin pour la question. Je vous salue tous les participants à ce webinaire et je remercie également les organisateurs de cette rencontre pour l'opportunité qui nous est donnée de partager l'expérience de nos différents projets de restauration. Je suis Madame Befionani, experte en suivi et évaluation du projet TRI. En République centrafricaine, le projet TRI mis en œuvre par la FAO a démarré ses activités depuis 2019, couvrant 5 sites, à savoir Bangui, Bayanga, Berberati, Mbaïki et Pissa. Les peuples autochtones font partie des bénéficiaires directs du projet TRI en République centrafricaine. Leur implication dans l'amélioration des résultats du projet a suivi une démarche très participative et itérative pour préparer et mettre en place les activités de restauration. Le projet a organisé des consultations communautaires pour le choix des sites à restaurer et le choix des essences. En tant que premier occupant du terroir, ayant une bonne connaissance de leur écosystème, cette consultation à la base était très importante. Le projet a également organisé des sensibilisations à leur endroit sur les effets du changement climatique et l'importance de la restauration pour la gestion durable des ressources naturelles. Les partenaires techniques de mise en œuvre du projet TRI ont conçu des outils pédagogiques sur la restauration des forêts et paysages. Plusieurs formations sur les techniques de collecte de plantes de qualité, de conduite des pépinières communautaires à base des essences et des plantations forestières et agroforestières ont été organisées à l'endroit de ces communautés locales. De façon pratique, les peuples autochtones ont été directement impliqués dans les travaux de restauration, dans le suivi et l'entretien du périmètre restauré. Avec l'appui d'un partenaire du projet, 3 groupements de production pépinière ont été créés précisément sur le site de Bayanga dans le sud-ouest du pays, ce qui a permis de produire plus de 100 000 plants et de planter 92 500 arbres avec des essences locales. Une surface de 185 hectares a été restaurée grâce à ces opérations de planting, ce qui a significativement contribué au résultat du projet. Grâce aux ressources du projet et à la demande des communautés, des graines de vivrier ont été mises à la disposition de ces peuples autochtones pour la plantation d'arbres fruitiers. Enfin, pour prévenir les incendies volontaires, le projet compte mettre en place des patrouilles communautaires incluant des représentants de ces peuples autochtones. Je vous remercie.
Thank you very much, Nani. It's very important to really involve local communities or indigenous peoples in this case. Many reports have chosen the long-term impact of fully integrating them in the management, restoration of their forest ecosystems. So it's very well noted. I also would like to remind all participants to write your questions, if any, in the chat, and specify, if possible, to whom you address your question. Next up, I would like to ask another question to our representative from Pakistan. In Pakistan, the use of innovative techniques like seed balls has played a significant role in forest restoration efforts. What has been the impact of using seed balls for forest restoration in Chitral, and how has this method contributed to community involvement and project success?
Thank you. Here in Pakistan, under the TRI project, we have done some work on the seed ball. The seed ball based forest restoration of degraded and deforested Chalgoza forest land in Chitral has been an amazing experience for us. This method offer a low-cost, simple, and highly effective solution for forest restoration, especially in the terrain like in Chitral. The Chalgoza forests are mostly located in the hilly and mountainous site where traditional planting or transplanting method are very difficult to implement due to the slope, due to this steep slope, limited accessibility of road, and harsh climatic condition. Under these circumstances, the seed ball based forest restoration being an amazing experience for us.
Thank you. Just a follow-up question. How did the communities appreciate, how was this method received by communities? Did you had issues at the start because it's a new technology? Can you elaborate on this? Thank you.
Yeah. The community, the local community in our region are mostly associated with the forest. They are always they have the concern about the forest degradation. So the sowing were in place in our area. The local people go to the forest and they sow seed like this. Then we introduce like these all the material are locally available. The soil, the humus, and the seeds. So we organize a series of practical training to forest department as well as the local community and the local youth volunteers. So once they get training and they are expert of making all these things, and they keenly involve themselves in going to the forest, and they use seed ball whenever they go to the forest for to collect firewood. They take seed ball from themselves. They go for NTFP collection, they take number of seat, and we had assigned tasks to the each and every community, like 1 million seed ball for the community A, and 1 million like this. And we also announced some appreciation letter and gift for those who complete it early. So it was a challenging, but yet the support of the local community and the stakeholder, the forest department, and the project team made it successful.
Thank you. It would be interesting if you have, maybe at a later stage or now already, if you can share with the wider community the survival and the impact of this on the restoration efforts, because that will be quite interesting. As you say, it's a new technology to be upscaled across other areas, maybe in Pakistan and beyond. Thank you.
Sure. Thank you.
At this point, we are just going to take a quick 5 minutes break to allow you to take a coffee or go for a little stroll. Meanwhile, we will showcase a virtual tour of the TRI project in Cameroon. This tour will give us a closer look at the on-ground efforts and the impact of the project of local communities and ecosystems. So we will connect. We will continue after 5 minutes. Thank you.
Thank you.
In this video, we are going to start with the Mbalmayo landscape. And as we can see, we had an approach of capacity buildings of beneficiaries in nursery production, because we believe that if we want to sustainably restore in terms of long run, in terms of exit strategy, it is important that beneficiaries are trained on how to establish and manage nurseries. So that's what we did. And in each of the landscape, we have nurseries. The nursery that we are seeing here in the Balmayo landscape, where we established 2 nurseries, one nursery with ANAFOR. ANAFOR is a government institution responsible for seedlings production. And the second nursery with the National Forestry School, which is a school responsible for training forest technicians and forest engineers. So these are 2 institutions, government, public, responsible for restoration. So we participatorily define the seedlings that should be produced, because we wanted seedlings that could have short economic returns for the beneficiaries. And based on that, we produce plum, or what we locally call safu, and also bitter cola, which is Garcinia cola, scientific names. So these are trees with high economic value, and thus can enable the beneficiaries to make some money out of the restoration initiative. In all of these, we also had bamboo, which is a core component on whom we are working, because bamboo is massively used in Cameroon for construction. And today we can sell 1 bamboo stick or 1 bamboo comb for around $1. So that is a source of economy. To be able to encourage the beneficiaries to join the project, we brought in an agroforestry approach, where we encourage the beneficiaries to add these fruit trees and other species that we develop in the nurseries, and also bamboo. For example, we were able to convert monoculture of cocoa into agroforestry, where we encourage them to intercrop cocoa and other fruit trees and bamboo. The aim is to build their resilience, so that if the cocoa production is not very good due to various reasons, at least the beneficiary can make money from the other crops introduced. So what we can see here is a land that was restored with bamboo. This species is called what we call Vulgaris via vitata. It's very beautiful. It's yellowish in color. And we can use that for construction. We can use it for charcoal production. We can use it for furniture making. And this is another site in the Balmayo landscape that was restored with bamboo. It should be noted that we try to choose indigenous species, not to introduce something new into the ecosystem, but try to add value or work on existing species. So Bambusa vulgaris is already found in the Balmayo landscape. So we train the beneficiaries on how to establish nurseries to produce Bambusa vulgaris seedlings, and also how to sustainably manage the natural resource that they have. And in addition to that, we came in with agroforestry techniques on how to intercrop bamboo and other fruit trees on the farm. The rationale is that the higher the diversity of the crops that the beneficiaries are working on, the higher their resilience to climate change. And we also train our beneficiaries on how to day-to-day take care of these plantations so that the yields are very high. Apart from that, we brought in an innovation, which is to establish a forest research, bamboo forest research in the National Forestry School, where we used different planting spacing. We had 7 by 7, we have 10 by 10, and different species, so that the National Forestry School in the future should be able to advise beneficiaries what is the best bamboo species, what is the best fruit trees that they can introduce in their farms to get the best outcome. So from the Balmayo landscape, we moved to the Douala Idea landscape, where most of our activities were around Lake Osa and also the Mwanko landscape. Lake Osa is very, very important because it is a conservation zone already by the Ministry of Forestry and Wildlife. And this river that we see is a very important touristic site. It welcomes a lot of tourists every year. On the left-hand side, below the small bamboo forest that we see, we have a picnic zone. So bamboo has created a canopy, and under that canopy, we have a picnic zone, usually where tourists can have their lunch. And we also have speed canoes that they use to be able to navigate the lake. So economically, it is already very important. So we came in with the same approach. First of all, to work with the conservation service of the Lake Osa, because Lake Osa is under the Ministry of Forestry and it has a conservation service. We established this nursery where, similar to the Mbalmayo landscape, we introduce species with economic value for the beneficiaries.
Thank you for this great video. It really demonstrates diversity of approaches, working with local communities and different stakeholders to implement restoration activities on the ground. So my next question will be directed to the representative from Cameroon. So as we saw from the video, Cameroon has implemented several innovative approaches in their TRI project. What innovative approaches have been implemented in Cameroon, and what have been the key successes of these? Over to you.
Bonjour à tous. Bonjour Benjamin. Merci de nous passer la parole. Moi, c'est Flore Negdem. Je suis experte en agroforesterie et j'ai une expérience professionnelle de moins 14 ans dans le domaine de la gestion des cycles de projet, depuis la conception, la mise en œuvre jusqu'au suivi et évaluation. Euh, je travaille comme assistante technique au niveau du bureau régional à Afrique centrale de l'Organisation internationale pour le bambou et le retin, qui est basée à Yaoundé. Et j'ai travaillé dans le projet TRI comme assistante technique. Et au niveau, au projet TRI Cameroun, nous avons eu plusieurs approches innovantes, parmi lesquelles nous pouvons citer l'implication du genre dans notre stratégie de restauration. Parmi les bénéficiaires, il y avait au moins 35% de femmes qui étaient organisées et puis encadrées de bout en bout, depuis la création des pépinières jusqu'au leur suivi et le planting dans des plantations. Donc, cela a permis à ces femmes de comprendre l'importance de la restauration dans leur espace de vie et surtout d'améliorer leurs revenus. Ce qui a d'ailleurs permis, dans le cadre du projet, d'offrir une machine de transformation des graines de Nîmes pour la production de l'huile de Nîmes au niveau du paysage de Ouaza aux femmes d'une association qui est basée dans le village Aïssaadé. Et cette machine a permis à cette dame d'améliorer la production de leur huile d'environ 40%. Donc, en plus, nous avons travaillé avec plusieurs espèces en utilisant une méthodologie participative qui a permis aux acteurs, aux différents acteurs sur le terrain de choisir eux-mêmes les espèces locales qu'ils jugeaient les plus appropriées pour leurs besoins. Alors, les populations ont eu à choisir le bambou. Plusieurs espèces de bambou leur ont été proposées en fonction des espaces écologiques dans lesquels ils se trouvaient. Et il y a aussi d'autres espèces de produits forestiers non ligneux qu'ils ont choisis, parmi lesquels la mangue sauvage, appelée dont le nom scientifique est Rhinodendron, et Invigia gabonensis. Ils ont eu à choisir ce qu'on appelle communément au Cameroun l'onjansa, dont le nom scientifique est Rhinodendron idolotii. Ils ont choisi le Mbitacola avec pour nom scientifique Garciniacola et plusieurs autres espèces parmi lesquelles les nimiers, l'anacarde et bien d'autres. Donc, vous avez eu à voir des images dans la vidéo précédente. Alors, le choix des espèces a vraiment été participatif parce que l'approche du projet Tri Cameroun était de se rassurer que tout paysan qui plante un arbre dans son champ ou dans son espace soit capable d'entretenir cet arbre après le projet pour une question de continuité dans l'action. Donc, le paysan devait d'abord se sentir à la base impliqué depuis le choix de l'espèce jusqu'à la production des plants et à la plantation, ce qui nous a permis de restaurer plus de 8000 hectares de forêt dans les trois paysages du projet qui étaient le paysage de Malmayo, le paysage du Douala-Idéa et le paysage de Ouaza dans la zone soudano-sahélienne. Nous avons aussi ciblé, comme autre approche innovative, nous avons fait le ciblage des jeunes élèves dans une école, dans plusieurs écoles, euh, au niveau de Dizangué, avec le lycée bilingue de Dizangué, et aussi au niveau de la ville de Moura, avec le lycée catholique de Moura, où nous avons accompagné ces élèves à travers des sensibilisations d'abord à la base, pour leur permettre de comprendre l'importance de la restauration, de la plantation d'arbres autour d'eux et dans leur milieu de vie. Alors, nous les avons accompagnés dans la création des pépinières, la production des plants, l'entretien des plants, la plantation en champ et l'entretien de ces plants. En plus, nous avons constaté qu'ils avaient de véritables problèmes au niveau du suivi des plans dans la zone soudano-sahélienne où les plans faisaient face à de longues périodes de sécheresse où les populations n'étaient pas encore habituées dans la zone. Alors, la période de sécheresse avait augmenté un peu plus et puis elle était plus intense, ce qui fait que ils ont eu à perdre quelques plans et face à cette situation, le projet a développé une stratégie. On leur a offert un tricycle pour faciliter. On leur a fait un tricycle et des points d'eau ont été construits, des forages à usage, à usage mécanique pour leur faciliter la production de l'eau et le transport vers les espaces restaurés. Donc, cela a permis de maximiser, de minimiser les pertes de plants en champ qui étaient déjà observées. Et comme autre approche participative, il y a eu que le projet TRI a cette particularité aussi il s'est parfaitement aligné euh, vers les interventions et les initiatives du gouvernement du Cameroun. Parce que le gouvernement du Cameroun avait pris cet engagement au niveau international de restaurer 12,5 millions d'hectares de forêt d'ici 2030. Et il était question pour le projet TRI de contribuer à sa manière à l'atteinte de ces objectifs. Donc, nous avons travaillé avec plusieurs administrations, parmi lesquelles le ministère des Forêts et de la Faune et le ministère de l'Environnement et de l'Environnement, de la protection de la nature et du développement durable. Nous avons travaillé à la mise en place de stratégies qui pouvaient nous permettre d'augmenter le taux de restauration des espaces au Cameroun. Et
Merci
en
beaucoup.
plus, nous avons aussi,
Merci beaucoup.
pour terminer,
Ouais.
Benjamin, s'il te plaît, nous
Ouais.
avons travaillé avec la production des carnets agroforestiers, ces carnets qui nous ont permis sur le terrain d'offrir à au moins 150 paysans la possibilité d'avoir la paternité des arbres plantés qui leur sont officiellement attribués parce qu'au Cameroun, en principe, l'arbre appartient à l'État. Mais nous avons eu cette brèche-là que l'administration nous a offerte pour accompagner les paysans à comprendre que les arbres plantés leur appartiennent effectivement. Et puis, à travers ces carnets agroforestiers, ça justifie effectivement cet état
Ouais.
de fait.
Oui,
Merci.
merci, c'est vraiment une innovation et importante pour vraiment sécuriser la durabilité de vos efforts. Et vous avez déjà touché sur les aspects de femmes, de rôle de femmes et de communauté. So, on va revenir là après. Merci beaucoup. So the next session we will talk about best practices, innovative approaches, and techniques. So I will direct my question now to the representative from one of the Kenya projects in the arid and semi-arid landscapes. So the TR projects have developed numerous best practices and innovative approaches that can serve as models for other regions. What best practices have emerged from the community-driven approach to restoration in arid and semi-arid lands in Kenya? And how do county and national policies support these efforts?
Thank you very much. The project that we are working on operates within the drier areas of Kenya, the ASAL areas of Kenya, where water is quite limiting. So we have come up with the various practices that will assist in restoration, and we have involved the communities from the identification of the problem, identification of the restoration options, and we have worked and identifying the target areas for restoration. So we have used a number of practices, basically water harvesting technologies. We have used vulnerary methods, a mechanized method where we construct water harvesting structures using a mechanized tractor. We have also used half moon to construct micro catchment. And after we have made those micro catchments, we try and do the reseeding of those micro catchment, either using grass and also planting the trees. We have also been able to use the indigenous species for restorations, the species that are best adapted to those particular areas. The other method is using the indirect methods. Since the communities here are pastoralists, we have identified an area, and we have what we have called enclosures or social fencing. We sort of restrict the communities from grazing from a particular area, and that will allow the area to regenerate. So we work very closely also with the community forest association that live next to near the forest, where they identify those particular areas, and they discuss with the communities, we involve the communities in problem identification and coming up with a solution so that we can sustain the process. Now, we have also try and engage other stakeholders within the area that are engaged in restoration activities. We have also worked closely with the county governments of those particular areas. How do we support the policy in that? We have been able to develop a number of strategies or a number of we have developed forest and landscape restoration action plans together with the stakeholders. And this has contributed to the national landscape restoration and ecosystem policy within the national level. The communities also in these areas, they depend on the non-timber products for their livelihoods. We have developed a 10-year national strategy for sustainable commercialization of non-timber forest product. And all the stakeholders within the county government and the national government have been involved in developing those strategies. We have also been able to support the county environmental action plans. These are development plans within the counties so that they can be able to incorporate the restoration activities in their plans. We have also been able to develop participatory forest management plans and forest management agreement so that the communities can be able to work together with the Kenya Forest Service in terms of restoring some of these particular areas. We are now almost finalizing what we call the forest benefit sharing regulation, which have also been developed together with the communities. And this will be able to be anchored within the Forest Conservation and Management Act so that the communities can get a share in terms of conservation activities. So those are some of the areas that we have worked on to support both the county and the national policy development.
Thank you very much for this wide range of enabling environment actions and interventions. Can I just ask you to quickly introduce yourself?
Okay, I'm James Ndufa. I work for Kenya Forest Research Institute, and we are part of the the institute that is implementing the ASAL project. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. And thank you, Dr. Nuva. I have another question for a representative from Central African Republic. In your country, the national political framework and public-private partnerships have been also key to promoting forest and landscape restoration. So how has the national political framework in the Central African Republic supported the restoration of forest landscapes? And what role have public-private partnerships played in this process? Over to you, Nani.
Merci Benjamin pour la question. Depuis plusieurs années, les autorités centrafricaines ont pris conscience de s'investir beaucoup plus activement dans la gestion durable des ressources naturelles. Bien que la République centrafricaine soit un vaste territoire disposant d'importants massifs forestiers, elle subit de fortes pressions sur les ressources naturelles liées à l'activité de l'homme. Comme conséquence, on observe de plus en plus de fronts de dégradation qui s'agrandissent année après année. Le pays a donc souscrit à plusieurs traités internationaux en faveur de la lutte contre les effets du changement climatique, notamment le défi de Bonn. Avec l'appui du projet RCA, la Coordination nationale de restauration des forêts et paysages est fonctionnelle pour soutenir la promotion de la RFP et jouer un rôle catalyseur dans les politiques forestières nationales pour une intégration de la RFP comme un pilier central des stratégies de gestion durable des ressources naturelles. S'alignant sur les principes pour la restauration des écosystèmes afin de guider la décennie des Nations Unies 2021 à 2030, la RCA s'est donc engagée dans une meilleure intégration des politiques afin de créer un environnement plus favorable à la RFP. À titre d'illustration, le document de politique forestière de la RCA de 2019 à 2035 dispose d'un axe stratégique dédié à la gestion et à la valorisation durable des forêts. On y trouve des activités telles que la constitution des concessions communautaires d'exploitation de belles œuvres, de bois et énergie, de charbon, de bois ou de l'agroforesterie, la collecte et la valorisation de PFNN, l'élaboration de manière participative des plans de gestion des différentes ressources de la forêt communautaire. La loi portant code forestier de 2008 est en phase de révision pour donner un cadre juridique plus approprié à ces nouvelles mesures. La FAO prend une part active dans ce processus de révision pour s'assurer notamment de la prise en compte des domaines et thèmes portant sur les forêts communautaires, les permis artisanaux, l'exploitation semi-industrielle, les bois de plantation et la réglementation du marché domestique et de marché transfrontalier et de la fiscalité forestière. Le cadre de résultats de l'UNDCF 2023 à 2027 a prévu un indicateur de performance qui s'appuie sur les surfaces des terres déboisées. Et le Plan national de développement PND-RCA 2024 à 2028, qui vient d'être validé, accorde également une place très importante à la gestion durable des ressources naturelles comme un indicateur de performance spécifique portant sur la superficie en hectares de forêts restaurées ou créées. Voici, chers collègues, quelques éléments de politique qui soutiennent la RFP en République centrafricaine. Concernant le partenariat public-privé dans la mise en œuvre des activités de la RFP, il faut dire que le projet TRI est en pleine phase d'expérimentation de l'approche. Les résultats pourront être mesurés et évalués en termes de cette expérimentation d'ici 2025. L'idée de ce partenariat public-privé est d'inclure et de bénéficier des externalités des secteurs privés dans les stratégies de restauration, ce qui aura plus d'effet sur le long terme. Dans sa conception en RCA, ce partenariat a été bâti sur la mise en place d'un consortium, c'est-à-dire un acteur couvrant le volet communautaire et un autre couvrant le volet formation, production et distribution des plans. Il y a eu des consultations communautaires pour le choix des zones de restauration et au stade actuel, un plan de restauration a été mis en place. Je vous remercie.
Thank you very much for these examples of potential or pilot partnerships and of the successful policy environment in Central African Republic for restoration. Next up, unfortunately, we have some issues with the connection with the other representative from Kenya on the other Tana Delta project, but we will play a short video to showcase you and highlight the project to you.
The restoration project in Kenya, the Tana Delta component implemented by Nature Kenya and UNEP, has had a significant capacity building at various levels. At the local community level, 55 community forest associations were set up, and village natural resource committees, they were trained on monitoring the restoration. Kenya Forest Research Institute trained them in seed collection, in assessing the seeds, in storing the seeds, and they have seeded and using that capacity restored over 8,000 hectares directly. Nature Kenya staff and government staff and county staff were trained, and they were able to carry out restoration opportunity assessment and mapping, which has generated the benefits for restoration. But also communities to learn on green value chains. They went through exchange programs with the government in Mount Kenya, learning about restoration, and in Isiolo, learning about conservancies and how to generate money from tourism. For restoration and monitoring, geo-based monitoring by the National Museums of Kenya using GIS, communities have phones, they are recording where they are seeding, they are sending photos, it's quite interactive, and as a result we are able to see on a map the areas which have been restored. Biodiversity monitoring, communities are monitoring, including being trained on fundamentals of ornithology using birds. Those ones are much easier to monitor. They are reporting data, and as a result there is interaction between communities on biodiversity restoration and getting community to learn from each other.
Thank you. And I hope this video demonstrates also again the diversity of interventions the TRI project brought to the Tana River Delta. Also, I would like to share a good experience we had, because we had two projects under this TRI program in Kenya, and there's been a lot of synergies and support for example, national enabling environment by both projects. The teams have also benefited jointly from capacity building and capacity development and training. So it's been really beneficial, I think, to have these two projects working in tandem while addressing specific context and needs at the landscape level. Next, we will actually go and show you and illustrate you the importance of communicating TRI successes. So we will share with you an infographic developed by the Green Pop team showcasing the achievements in Guinea-Bissau. This infographic is really an example of a visual representation highlighting the key achievements of the project and the impact of effective communication in promoting sustainable landscape management. So you can see really it highlights the journey of the project, the different kind of landscapes, the different overview, and also what the achievements have been realized by June 2024. So it's important to visualize this, to have a broad understanding, and also to target this to a variety of audiences. So it's also important to in communicating in the proper language, to have it translated, for example, in local language. So communication is a key aspect of really involving and informing communities and stakeholders, and also it is a tool to maybe enable for upscaling the efforts across different landscapes within the country or also beyond. So some efforts by all countries have been realized to communicate both locally, nationally, as well as internationally. So unfortunately, we have an issue with also with connection for the representative from Guinea-Bissau. So we go straight into the next session. And our representative from Cameroon already alluded to the involvement of women and gender empowerment and equity as an important part of our restoration journey and approach. So the next question is, the gender empowerment and equity are critical components of the TRI project. Ensuring that women have equal access to resources and decision-making processes is vital for the success of these initiatives. In Sao Tome and Principe, the involvement of women has been integrated to the success of FLR interventions. So what best practices have emerged from the involvement of women in designing and implementing FLR interventions and influencing the hierarchy of tree species values in Sao Tome and Principe? Please unmute yourself, Mayor.
Ah, vous avez dit Cameroun, mais c'est Sao Tomé.
Non, c'est à vous.
OK. Bon, merci. Merci. Je m'appelle Meyer Antonio. Je suis point focal de, je suis point focal des projets TRI à Sao Tomé et Principe par part du gouvernement. Je suis technicien de la direction des forêts et de la biodiversité de Sao Tomé et Principe. Ce qu'on dit par rapport aux femmes, c'est que quand il y a une plus implication des femmes, la restauration améliore le processus de la restauration. Pourquoi on dit ça? Parce que à Sao Tomé et Principe, on a fait, avant de commencer le projet, une évaluation sur les tâches que chacun font dans le processus de restauration. Et on a vu que les femmes sont plus impliquées dans le processus de collecte des produits forestiers non ligneux et aussi elles sont plus actives dans la production en pépinière et aussi dans le processus de production de plantes. Comme ça, là, dans le processus de production, de restauration qu'on a élaboré dans le projet TRI, on a maximisé 7 tâches de femmes dans le projet. On a fait que les femmes entrent dans le processus de plantation des arbres, de production de pépinières, et ça a amélioré le processus de restauration du pays. Parce que quand les femmes prennent une tâche à main, elles sont plus impliquées et elles amènent aussi dans cette tâche les hommes et les enfants. Et ça, c'est une chose de plus pour les processus de restauration. Et aussi, on a un exemple au principe, qu'on a le principe, on a une ONG qui sait, le président c'est une femme, ils font la restauration des mangroves. Et c'est le meilleur exemple qu'on a dans le processus de restauration des mangroves à Sao Tomé. Parce qu'ils impliquent beaucoup de gens, ils sont très motivés, ils font comme une fête. Quand ils vont dans le processus, c'est comme une fête. Comme ça, là, cet exemple, on prend cet exemple et on partage cet exemple au niveau national aussi avec les autres parties prenantes. Et ça, c'est quelque chose de plus important pour le processus de restauration. Et ce que je peux dire pour les autres, c'est que quand on a le processus de restauration, il faut impliquer plus les gens dans les tâches qu'ils se sentent plus à l'aise. Et ça améliore tout le processus de restauration. Et c'est l'exemple que je peux partager de Sao Tomé et Principe. Merci.
Thank you very much, Mayor. before going to the next question, we also have for you a short video to really demonstrate also and show what's been happening in Guinea-Bissau on the project focusing on mangrove restoration.
Nous avons eu l'occasion et le plaisir de recevoir une délégation du TRI Sao Tome et Principe à Bissau. Pendant 5 jours, on a organisé une visite de terrain pour voir quelles sont les stratégies que nous avons mises en place pour la restauration de la mangrove. Nous avons dit qu'il faut toujours privilégier les systèmes de régénération naturelle assistée parce que c'est une condition, rétablir les conditions naturelles et hydrologiques des sites à restaurer et favoriser les conditions écologiques pour la restauration. En même temps, on a dit que dans les sites plus difficiles, on peut faire la plantation manuelle de la mangrove et surtout en appuyant sur la jeunesse. Mais non seulement appuyant sur la jeunesse, mais donner la jeunesse un support d'animation, de la formation sur les techniques de reboisement et en même temps de favoriser pendant la journée, avant la journée, les sessions d'éducation et communication environnementale en privilégiant les ciné-débats dans différentes thématiques pour mobiliser les jeunes à la plantation de la mangrove. Cette stratégie qu'on a discutée avec notre collègue de Sao Tome, malgré que les conditions ne sont pas les mêmes entre nous, mais on a mis d'accord que sont les stratégies plus favorables pour la restauration.
This video also showed the importance of involving youth in restoration interventions. So it's an important stakeholder group that we really need to focus also our efforts on communicating and involving them in planning, implementation, and monitoring of restoration. The video also highlighted one of the kind of strengths and advantages of this Restoration Initiative program because this program, because it's working in so many different countries, it enables us to organize exchange visits on a variety of topics. And as mentioned by the presenter, both Sao Tome and Principe and Guinea-Bissau are working on mangrove restoration efforts. So the knowledge exchange and experience has benefited both of them. Before we're going to the next one, I would definitely like to also remind all participants to raise your questions in the chat so we can answer them at the end of the session. So lastly, but not least, I will have a question for the representative of Tanzania. In Tanzania, the TRI project has focused on empowering women through various initiatives. How has the TRI project ensured the participation of different gender and age groups in planning and decision-making related to sustainable landscape restoration?
Thank you very much, Benjamin. My name is Damas William Apunda from the United Republic of Tanzania. To respond to your question, first and foremost, TRI recognizes the sustainable landscape restoration is a stakeholder-driven process, so equally important. TRI Tanzania recognizes that women, youth, and among other gender groups are victims of landscape degradation, but they are also the guardians of the agents of landscape restoration. So basically, we have dedicated a gender expert who is prepared guidelines for mainstreaming gender issues in sustainable landscape restoration. Again, to ensure effective participation of women, youth, we've been taking stakeholders analysis regarding the broader stakeholders groups at the project level and the specific gender or age groups at the community level. Through this process, we document the key interests, needs, and concerns of these various stakeholders that are critical for sustainable landscape restoration planning and implementation. So further, we defined mechanisms or platforms for engaging stakeholders at community and landscape level. At the community level, for example, major platforms have been the village governments, where we have 54 villages in the 2 landscapes where we are working. We have village natural resource committees, which are 52, water users association groups, and we have women and youth groups. So the multi-stakeholder platforms have been critical avenue for inclusive stakeholder participation at national and landscape level. So generally, we have 10 working groups working for restoration initiatives across the nation. To ensure a meaningful participation in the landscape restoration process, the project engages community groups in design and selection of priority interventions and sites as well as types of seeds and other inputs to be used. For example, out of 6,856 beneficiaries, 4,097 were women beneficiaries on climate smart agriculture. We also have beneficiaries on sustainable forest management, where we represent 449 women out of 1,496 beneficiaries. Also, to ensure the alignment of social, cultural, and ecological contexts, gender and age aspects are factored into the implementation process to reflect the different needs and capacities of key stakeholders. So through this inclusive planning and implementation, the project has been able to secure stakeholder buy-in and ownership, and also commitment to the sustainable restoration initiatives. The inclusive approach has boosted the adoption of sustainable landscape restoration practices, improved project performances, and also has ensured the sustainability of sustainable intervention beyond the project lifespan. Over to you, Benjamin. Thank you.
Thank you very much for sharing these very good intervention and approaches used. I would like, if the connection allows us, to give the floor to the representative from Guinea-Bissau. We saw from the video that Guinea-Bissau has been successful with an approach of mangrove restoration combined with rice field rehabilitation. So what best practices have emerged from this integrated approach to mangrove restoration and rice fields rehabilitation? Over to you. Sir, we don't hear you. We don't hear you. Can you check your microphone settings? No, maybe we will go. Maybe we'll start with the questions, and in meanwhile, you can try and sort out your microphone issues. Thank you, and sorry for this. So we now give the floor to the representative. Yes, you're connected. Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
Go ahead.
Bonjour à tous. Oui. Notre projet, les communautés côtières de 10 villages que nous intervenons vivent dans l'écosystème de mangrove où elles cultivent du riz qui revêt de importance stratégique pour leur sécurité alimentaire. Par conséquent, le projet a utilisé l'approche intégrée de paysage mangrove, forêt mangrove et rizière, qui signifie qu'avec l'implication des communautés dans un premier temps, de faire connaître l'histoire des zones de mangrove à restaurer et comment ils comptent de l'utiliser à l'avenir et connaître d'autre part les rizières, leur fonctionnement hydraulique de la plaine rizicole, problèmes, motivation, les forces disponibles et leur point de vue sur les enjeux environnementaux, liées au paysage mangrove. C'est-à-dire que tout l'exercice de planification, restauration, réhabilitation des rizières au niveau local ont été impliqués les bénéficiaires et les parties prenantes des zones en question dans le cadre d'un diagnostic territorial participatif. Les communautés côtières sont confrontées avec le changement climatique à raison des irrégularités des pluies, la montée du niveau de la mer, les exodes des jeunes vers les villes. Certains producteurs ont tendance à abandonner la riziculture de mangrove, du coup d'une partie des réserves abandonnées chaque année, car la tâche est très lourde. Dans ce contexte, les projets et les communautés ont identifié les opportunités de restauration de mangroves dans les rizières abandonnées. Il faut pour cela ouvrir les brèches dans les anciens digues pour permettre la rupture de la marée et faciliter la réintégration naturelle des propagules des mangroves. Cette méthode on appelle régénération naturelle assistée. Lorsque cette réintroduction naturelle est insuffisante, on booste les process en plantant manuellement les propagules palétuviers. En contrepartie des efforts des communautés en faveur de la restauration, le projet s'est engagé à les appuyer dans la riziculture de mangrove, pourtant de l'une des plus productives avec les aménagements hydrauliques, en proposant des améliorations technologiques simples, en répondant aux besoins exprimés par les communautés, surtout dans la gestion de l'eau de rizière, de façon à pouvoir mieux maîtriser les irrégularités des pluies et la montée du niveau marin. Cela passe pour l'introduction d'ouvrages hydrauliques, barrages traditionnels, les tuyaux PVC et l'appui à la construction et réhabilitation des digues de la ceinture. Mais également, le projet a mis à disposition les semences de riz plus résistants au sel et au déficit de pluie. Merci.
Thank you very much. And I believe many countries across the world can learn from your approach on combining mangrove restoration and rice field rehabilitation. So there will be definitely a request for this. So let's move now to a question and answer session. We received some questions, so I would like you all, if I direct a question to you, to respond as brief as possible, so we can have a variety of questions. The first set of questions is for Pakistan. Ajas, your seed ball approach has sparked some interest. So you've got some questions on this. I will combine some of them. Is how do you use dry seed balls? Is the technique valid for even very small seed types? And what kind of spacing are respected for the seed balls, or are the balls thrown randomly across the landscape? Over to you.
We use seed ball, and we make two type of seed. One is we call single seed, in which we use for chalhoza seed, we use for deodar seed and other the conifer tree. Second, we call it the seed bomb. In seed bomb, we use up to 30 different type of seed, which seed of shrubs, local herbs, all in order to cover the ground. So we didn't use any spacing. We placed the seed ball all to those area where we previously identified as highly degraded or highly deforested. Because in our landscape, here is almost 90% of the landscape is hilly and mountainous.
Thank you so much. And a question for a representative from the Democratic Republic of Congo. Can you tell us more about the role of the community mobilization through local development clubs? Could you expand on this? The question for Lebo. And how will the restoration activities be sustained after the project is ended? Over to you, Lebo, if you can unmute your microphone.
Oui, Benjamin, je vois que ma vidéo est bloquée.
Please proceed without video. Just go ahead.
Yeah, it was about
I can repeat it. Can you tell us more about the role of community mobilization through local development clubs, maybe local club Dimitra that we had, and also how will the restoration activities be sustained after the project ended?
OK. Merci Benjamin pour la question. Alors, pendant la mise en œuvre de notre projet, nous avons utilisé quatre approches. La première approche, c'était l'approche institutionnelle, donc avec les institutions de recherche. La deuxième approche, c'était l'approche étatique, avec les concessions étatiques et les communautés locales autour des concessions étatiques. Et puis la troisième, c'est l'approche communautaire. Alors, l'approche communautaire nous a permis de mettre une grande superficie en restauration à travers les clubs Dimitra. Au fait, l'approche club Dimitra a permis d'améliorer la sensibilisation au niveau communautaire et ils ont permis au projet de faire les activités partant des pépinières, la production des plantules en pépinière, le contrôle de ces plantules, jusqu'à la distribution au niveau des bénéficiaires et tous les membres de la communauté. Et après la distribution, c'est maintenant les membres des clubs Dimitra eux-mêmes qui sont en train de faire les suivis au niveau de ceux qui ont planté afin de savoir quelle est la quantité des arbres qui ont reçu et est-ce que l'approche est maintenue.
Merci beaucoup. Thank you. Thank you,
OK.
Lebo. Thank you. Another
Le
question.
temps, c'est fini, Benjamin. Je voudrais citer.
No, sorry. We will go to another question because we've got some more questions. Thank you.
OK, OK, good.
Next, one question for Sao Tome, for Mayor. Is there any of the interventions that could be scaled up as a bankable project that would attract private investment, and to what scale?
Les interventions des femmes dans les procédures de restauration. Oui. Yes. Oui. Ce qu'on peut dire, c'est que même que les actions des femmes sont dans les petits endroits là des communautés, mais c'est placé partout dans le pays. Pour ça, je pense que cet exemple, on peut agrandir dans les autres pays ou dans les pays en général. Mais on ne peut pas prendre un exemple d'un pays et amener dans notre pays sans regarder d'abord la réalité de chaque pays ou de chaque région. C'est ça que c'est plus important de faire. On ne peut pas dire non, on va faire ça qu'on a fait là-bas, ça bien fait. Non, on doit regarder d'abord la réalité de chaque pays, les aspects culturels. Et après ça, c'est qu'on peut faire l'implémentation, la mise en œuvre de ces actions. Et pour cela, avant qu'on prenne quelque chose et mette en grande échelle, il faut d'abord étudier les milieux où on va faire l'implémentation de chaque action.
Merci beaucoup. I've got a question for Dr. Mapunda for Tanzania. What mechanism or structures do you have in place for making decisions collectively, resolving tensions, disagreement, or designating authorities? So how is your governance structured across the landscape?
Okay, thank you very much, Benjamin, and thank you for the question. Basically, we have government structure to the community level, from the national to community level. We have committees at the village level where we are working with, and they are linked to the government, village governments. So basically, these committees constitute both gender, women and men and youth. Particularly, for example, the Natural Resources Management Committee, which they are really the drivers in terms of restoration. And if you can see behind me, the poster where it shows community groups which has been supported by the project to process milk and sell it to other places. And this has been basically suggested by the community groups at village level, and they are being supported by the government at district and regional level. So we have all the structures from the national level, regional to local level, where decision-making process is basically inclusive and participatory. Thank you. Back to you, Benjamin.
Thank you very much. I think we've got time for one more question, and I will direct it to Dr. Dufa from Kenya. What are the best approaches for securing local funding for restoration? You've got any advice on that?
In our project area, we have we train the various groups, the honey groups, the restoration group, the water conservation group, and they have been able to develop bankable projects, and they've been funded in terms of getting the item for processing for example, the honey value chain. So we have built the capacity in terms of developing bankable proposals.
So they received investments from other means, from private or public?
Yes, they get them from the private sector.
Okay. Great news. I think you've got time for one more question, a short question for Cameroon. There was a question on the agroforestry notebook, the carnet that you mentioned in Cameroon. Does it apply only to public land plots or private land, or both?
Okay. Merci Benjamin pour la parole donnée. Les carnets agroforestiers dont j'ai parlé, c'est à usage pour les plantations privées des particuliers, des personnes qui ont pris sur eux de s'investir dans l'activité de restauration. Donc, le gouvernement, généralement au Cameroun, la loi forestière dit que l'arbre appartient à l'État. Donc, il est question que les plantations naturelles, avec les arbres qu'ils contiennent, puissent appartenir à l'État. C'est maintenant l'État qui peut donner l'autorisation aux personnes qui le sollicitent pour qu'ils puissent l'exploiter sous condition de paiement des taxes. Contrairement au carnet agroforestier où l'État attribue directement la paternité de l'arbre planté aux paysans à quelques années après sa plantation, parce qu'il y a des commissions qui descendent sur le terrain, les commissions des délégations locales du ministère des Forêts qui descendent dans les plantations pour pouvoir évaluer le niveau de suivi et de survie des arbres plantés. Donc, lorsque le paysan sollicite donc l'obtention de ces carnets, la procédure est enclenchée et puis il reçoit ce carnet qui lui permettra plus tard de ne pas payer un certain nombre de taxes au moment de l'exploitation. Parce que lorsque vous ne disposez pas de ce carnet, vous n'avez aucune preuve que vous avez planté l'arbre et le gouvernement a tous les droits de vous demander de payer la taxe de régénération. Merci.
Okay, merci beaucoup. Thank you very much. This brings us to the end of this knowledge sharing event. Even working already 5 years on this initiative, I'm still impressed with all the insights and experience shared. So thank you all distinguished speakers for sharing your insights and your restoration journey the last few years. It is clear that the TRI project have made significant strides in sustainable restoration, community engagement and empowerment, and gender and youth involvement. We hope that these lessons and best practices will inspire and guide future restoration efforts across the globe. So I also thank all of you participants to this session. I hope this has inspired you to really scale up restoration efforts across your respective landscape, and also to enable you to communicate further on your efforts. So please use that hashtag Generation Restoration under the United Nations Decade for Ecosystem Restoration. So you can keep following us and our journey through the variety of social media channels and websites. So thank you once again for your attention and your active participation. And thank you once again, speakers, for your contributions. Have a nice day.
Thank you.
Thank you, Benjamin. Even you locked my video.
Yeah, video is locked.
Merci.
Au revoir. Et à bientôt.
Yeah, well done, everyone. Thank you. Well done, Benjamin. I think that all went really smoothly, given, and some fantastic questions at the end there. And despite a few challenges with audio, whatever, yeah, you were very adaptable. Well done to Nick and Yanka. Fantastic. So, yeah, to all the country speakers, thank you for participating. I think it was a really great show overall. Just to let you know, we are going to package this into a video. And so it will be an asset that will be available sometime after this. All right. Have a lovely Thursday, everyone. I don't know if anyone else would like to add a last thing to just chime in. Otherwise, we can sign off.
No, thank you, the team of Green Pop, for excellent organization and support.
Yeah, such a pleasure.
Merci à toute l'équipe.
Merci, au revoir. Available sometime after.